Good morning. What I'm going to attempt to show today is a demonstration of how you can recreate Johannes Itten's simultaneous contrast chart. What we want to do is choose probably a 50% gray in the Photoshop background, and then by applying pure hues around it, notice how the brightness of the gray is affected. Alright, so we're going to test this theory in practice. I'm going to start by making the entirety of my background a solid color, and I'm going to choose a 50% gray. Alright, then what I want to do is make a square shape, which I will fill with a solid color of yellow. And then I'm going to hold the Alt key and I'm going to click and drag to make a copy. The next one I will make orange. Right. Alt, click and drag. I'll make this one red. And maybe I'll shift select each of these. Alt, click and drag them. Maybe hold shift as well. I'll take the bottom one and I will change it to a magenta, kind of blue-violet color. I'm already messing up, but I'll come back to it. I know I need a green and a blue, so I'm going to go ahead and make this my blue. This is meant to be green. Alright, and then this is meant to be violet. There we go. So I don't know if it's going to be as obvious what's happening until we kind of cut our holes in the shapes. So what I'm going to do is select by holding the Control key. I'm clicking on the mask. I'm going to do select, transform selection, and I'm just going to hold Shift and Alt, kind of shrink it down, and then I'm going to delete that part. Ooh, not directly editable. Well, what I will then do is use my eraser on the mask, erase that. Alright, then if I play my cards right, now that I have this small rectangle, I should be able to drag it over and erase from the next layer. There we go. Go back to the rectangle marquee so that I can move my selection. And E for the eraser. It may have helped me if I did this ahead of time before I duplicated my layers, but I won't worry about that at the moment. In fact, to save myself a little bit of time, I may take the three top shapes and rasterize them and merge them so they're all solid. Then all I have to do is move my selection, press delete, move my selection, press delete, and then move my selection, press delete. Now I wonder if the effect is somewhat being lost. Let me merge these layers. Control E to merge these layers. I wonder if I need to select a different color for the exterior. Let's try that. What if on the exterior we have a solid color of black? Or a solid color of white? Sorry, I had to pause momentarily as we were being interrupted by the morning announcements. So what I'm going to do now is compare this to the chart that I had to go from, and it looks like perhaps my gray squares are all a little bit big, so maybe what I need to do is reduce that size a bit. Let's play around with that idea. So if I were to, let's see, use the eyedropper and magic wand, and then I want to subtract. Magic wand needs to stay normal. I want to subtract a rectangular shape from here. I wonder Ooh, no, that didn't do what I wanted to do. Let's fill it in real quick. Or even better, maybe I should take the gray and rasterize that. Whoops. That may be more the speed that we would want. So I'll try this. Go ahead and eyedropper, fill that in. I can think of more efficient ways I could have done this, but fill that in. Eyedropper. Eyedropper. Nothing teaches like repetition, gang. So, now that I have this nice small square, let's see, M, move tool, move it over, delete, move it down, delete, move it over, delete, move it over, delete. Now, that's all being controlled by this gray here. I could certainly try lighter grays or darker grays to test out the theory. And interestingly enough, I wonder if it would look different printed. It almost feels like it's doing the opposite with my colors. You know, I feel like the small gray is actually having a lot more intensity compared to the white, but let's see how that shifts if I switch to black. I'm going to save this. Itten simultaneous chart. Good gumdrops. I think the other thing to want to play around with here would be making an example of a single color with gray having its complement. So let me make a big bar of, let's see, yellow, and we'll fill that in, and then a small rectangle, and I'm going to ask for a solid color that's going to be a muted gray with a little bit of violet in it. And I'll go to my web colors just to see. It's got, oh, that's too limiting, I think. Something around there would work. And then magic wand, slide that over, and then here we'll put an actual 50% gray, so go with solid color gray. Alright, and then another over here. We'll go with a solid color. We want one that's going to be somewhat warm, so solid color. Gray that is somewhat warm. Maybe we'll get somewhat orange. Red. Just to see how those play with our perception as well. If I were to take a hue saturation adjustment layer and switch that color, how does it change? against the blue, the purplish gray is kind of imperceptible, but against some of the warmer colors, it really looks quite cool. This one here, where's the top one? That's supposed to be my warmer one. So it's about 50. Maybe we'll try to intensify the warmth of it. In fact, what if we shifted this to a blue? Saturation 15, black 50. Okay, and we'll try that for the other one. Saturation 15, black 50. So at least they're equal. And we can play with that hue and saturation and just see. Well, certainly the cool looks cooler against the warmer. The warm. I'm seeing some orange there. It's backed with blue. It's fun. Frankly, it's making my eyes hurt, but there's a lot you could learn playing around with this. So I'm going to save this as well. And then I think I could even crop this so that I don't worry too much about the surrounding colors. I'm going to play with that one more time, see if that makes a difference. Fun. You can play with your saturation, desaturate both. Alright, I'm going to save this. And I'm going to save this. Let's see what if I were to pack this in a little tighter. I use my move tool, the letter V, slide that down, get kind of equal spacing. I'll have to update this as well. Delete the mask. I'll delete the whole layer and we'll just start it fresh. Crop tool. Magic wand. A little white to block. There we go. That is interesting. If we choose a dark gray, how does that change it? Save. Woo. Yeah, I like the name of it. I don't like where I saved it though. Documents doesn't make a ton of sense. Let me make sure it's in my desktop folder. Back to my files.